Did you know that some of the most iconic disco songs from the 70s were also one-hit wonders? That's right, these tracks might have only hit the charts once, but their impact on the dance floor was unforgettable. The disco fever that swept the world in the mid to late 70s was more than a genre. It wasn't just about the music, it was about the style, the energy, and the sense of freedom that filled every dance club and roller rink. Some of the best, most infectious tracks came from artists who were only ever able to make one unforgettable splash on the charts. These one-hit wonders may have only had a fleeting moment in the spotlight, but their music continues to echo through time. Join us in this video as we revisit 15 amazing 1970s disco one-hit wonders. Number 1. Rock Your Baby, George McCrae.
Rock your baby.
Released in 1974, Rock Your Baby became an instant disco anthem and an essential track in the early days of the genre. With its smooth, infectious rhythm and McCrae's tender vocals, it set the stage for what would become the disco revolution. The song peaked at number 1 on the Billboard Hot 100, becoming the first disco song to do so. It was also a chart topper in several countries, establishing George McCrae as a key figure in the rise of disco music. The song's smooth groove and string arrangements, paired with a vocal delivery that is both sultry and soothing, were groundbreaking for its time. Written and produced by Harry Wayne Casey and Richard Finch of KC and the Sunshine Band, Rock Your Baby shook things up for pop music. It featured the smooth soul influence that would later dominate the disco genre, blending elements of funk and R&B with an irresistible danceable beat. While McCrae never managed to replicate the success of Rock Your Baby, the song became one of the defining tracks of the 1970s disco era. It remained in heavy rotation on the radio and in nightclubs, setting the stage for countless other disco hits. A fun fact about the song is that it was initially intended for another artist, but McCrae's performance of the track made it an instant classic. Number 2. Turn the Beat Around, Vicki Sue Robinson.
Turn the beat around.
When Vicki Sue Robinson burst onto the disco scene with Turn the Beat Around in 1976, she delivered an electrifying anthem that still lights up dance floors today. Written by Gerald Jackson and Peter Jackson, the song was initially offered to other artists before finding its perfect match in Robinson's powerful voice. Her dynamic performance elevated the track into a dazzling display of disco energy. Released as part of her debut album, Never Gonna Let You Go, the song quickly climbed the charts, peaking at number 10 on the Billboard Hot 100, and landing itself a nomination for a Grammy. Its infectious rhythm, propelled by energetic percussion and brass, captured the very essence of disco, bold, relentless, and joyful. The lyrics call for turning the beat around, celebrated music's transformative power, resonating with a generation eager to dance their cares away. Robinson's own story mirrored her song's sense of energy. Born in Harlem to artistic parents, her early life revolved around music and performance. Before her disco breakthrough, she performed in theater productions as a backup singer, experiences that shaped her stage presence. Though her subsequent releases didn't achieve the same level of success, Turn the Beat Around ensured her a lasting legacy as a disco icon. As Robinson commanded dance floors with her anthem of rhythm, another rising star would take the disco scene by storm, this time with a sultry invitation to Ring My Bell. Number 3. Ring My Bell, Anita Ward. If there's one song that showcases the playful sensuality of disco, it's Ring My Bell by Anita Ward. Released in 1979, the song became an instant classic, proving Ward's place in the walls of disco history. With its hypnotic beat, seductive lyrics, and Ward's crystal clear vocals, Ring My Bell was a party anthem that captured the closing moments of the disco decade. The track was written by Frederick Knight and originally intended for an entirely different artist. Knight reworked it for Ward, infusing it with a sizzling blend of electronic percussion and the signature ding-dong sound that gave the song its unforgettable hook. When it was released as the lead single from Ward's debut album, Songs of Love, it skyrocketed to the top of the charts, reaching number 1 on the Billboard Hot 100 and topping charts worldwide. For Ward, a former schoolteacher with no prior experience in disco, Ring My Bell was a whirlwind moment of success. Her gospel roots brought a unique, polished quality to her performance, standing out in a genre dominated by more sultry vocalists. The song's innuendo-filled lyrics and groovy bass line made it a favorite on the dance floor, while its innovative production techniques pushed disco's sound into new territory. Though Ward's subsequent attempts to replicate her success were less fruitful, Ring My Bell ensured her place in disco history. It's a song that still finds its way into movies, commercials, and playlists. As Ring My Bell rang out in clubs across the world, another duo was capturing the spirit of weekend excitement. Get ready to relive the feel-good vibes of Bell and James's Livin' It Up Friday Night. Number 4. Livin' It Up Friday Night, Bell and James.
Living it up, oh yeah. Friday night. Living it up, living it up.
This is easily one of the songs that can capture the pure joy of Friday night freedom. Released in 1978, Living It Up Friday Night by Bell and James quickly became a celebration of the weekend, a time when the grind of the work week gave way to the carefree energy of disco's dazzling dance floors. With its infectious groove, jubilant brass section, and sing-along chorus, the song invited everyone to join in the party. The Philadelphia-based duo, Leroy Bell and Casey James, were no strangers to the music world before their disco hit. Bell came from a musical family. His uncle was Tom Bell, a prominent figure in the Philadelphia soul sound. The duo had primarily worked as songwriters, penning tracks for legends like Elton John. However, Living It Up Friday Night gave them a chance to step into the spotlight. The single peaked at number 15 on the Billboard Hot 100 and became part of disco playlists worldwide. Thanks to its upbeat vibe and relatable theme, the lyrics spoke to the universal desire to leave the week's worries behind, perfectly capturing the disco era's ethos and living in the moment. It wasn't just a song, it was a soundtrack to Friday nights everywhere, a reminder that the weekend was a time to celebrate. While Bell and James didn't achieve significant success beyond this track, their contribution to disco remains a cherished part of its history. Living It Up Friday Night continues to bring smiles to listeners' faces, instantly transporting them back to the glittery heights of the late 70s. From the excitement of Friday nights, we move to a song that became the ultimate expression of authenticity and individuality. Our next entry defined disco's unapologetic spirit. Number 5. Gotta Be Real, Cheryl Lynn.
To be real.
If disco had a manifesto, Cheryl Lynn's Gotta Be Real might be it. Released in 1978, this timeless anthem oozed confidence and authenticity, becoming one of the genre's defining tracks. Its funky bass line, shimmering brass, and Lynn's powerhouse vocals combined to create a song that was as much about self-expression as it was about getting people on the dance floor. Co-written by Cheryl Lynn, David Page of Toto fame, and David Foster, the song was an immediate hit, peaking at number 12 on the Billboard Hot 100 and claiming the top spot on the R&B charts. Lynn's bold delivery of the lyrics, encouraging listeners to embrace who they are, struck a chord with audiences, making it a disco classic that transcended the genre. Cheryl Lynn's rise to fame came from an unexpected start. After a show-stopping performance of You Are So Beautiful on the TV talent show The Gong Show, she caught the attention of industry insiders who recognized her immense talent. Her debut album, which included Gotta Be Real, marked the beginning of a promising career. The song's enduring appeal lies in its ability to blend disco with funk and soul while delivering a message of empowerment. It's been sampled by numerous artists over the years, cementing its status as a staple of pop culture. To this day, Gotta Be Real is an undeniable crowd pleaser, with its uplifting vibe and infectious groove. As Cheryl Lynn encouraged listeners to keep it real, another artist was taking a more lighthearted approach to disco stardom, complete with high kicks and chops. Next up is a disco track that brought a playful twist to the genre. Number 6. Kung Fu Fighting, Carl Douglas.
Everybody was kung fu fighting.
When Carl Douglas released Kung Fu Fighting in 1974, he likely had no idea it would become one of the most iconic novelty hits of all time. Originally written as a quick filler for the B-side of a single, the track surprised everyone by taking the world by storm, blending disco's infectious energy with the rising global fascination with martial arts. Penned by Douglas and produced by Badu Apaya, the song was recorded in just 2 takes. Its playful lyrics, rapid-fire rhythm, and unforgettable hoo-ha exclamation struck a chord with audiences. Released during the height of the martial arts craze, fueled by Bruce Lee films and Kung Fu mania, Kung Fu fighting became an instant phenomenon. It topped the Billboard Hot 100 and went on to sell over 11 million copies worldwide. Carl Douglas, a Jamaican-born artist raised in England, had been working as a session singer before his unexpected breakout. Though Kung Fu fighting launched him to global fame, his follow-up singles never reached the same heights, leaving him with the bittersweet label of a one-hit wonder. Still, his playful homage to martial arts left an indelible mark on pop culture, inspiring everything from dance moves to parody songs. Today, Kung Fu fighting remains a lovely party track. Its strange and energetic vibe makes it a timeless favorite. From Kung Fu kicks to a high-energy anthem celebrating life itself, the next stop on our disco journey is Patrick Hernandez's Born to Be Alive. Get ready to dance like you're unstoppable. Number 7. Born to Be Alive, Patrick Hernandez. There's one disco track that boldly represents the feeling of pure euphoria. It's Patrick Hernandez's Born to Be Alive. Released in 1978, the song quickly became a global sensation. With its infectious beat and triumphant message of living life to the fullest, with its high-energy vibe, the track's central theme of liberation and joy resonated with a world ready to embrace the unrestrained spirit of disco. Written and performed by French artist Patrick Hernandez, Born to Be Alive was a part of his debut album of the same name. The song's pulsating rhythm, paired with its bold celebratory lyrics, perfectly captured the disco era's ethos, a call to live in the moment and seize the dance floor. The track hit number 1 in several countries, including France, and was a top 20 hit in the United States, where it made a lasting impact on the dance charts. Hernandez, who had previously worked as a dancer, singer, and actor in France, was no stranger to the stage before his disco breakthrough. However, Born to Be Alive marked the pinnacle of his career, giving him a place in the annals of disco history. The track's universal appeal stretched across borders, making it a party anthem in Europe, the US, and beyond. Though Hernandez's follow-up releases couldn't quite match the success of his signature hit, Born to Be Alive remains an impressive part of disco playlists worldwide. It's been embraced as a timeless anthem of vitality and living freely, constantly revived in movies, TV shows, and commercials. Every time it plays, listeners are transported back to an era when life was meant to be celebrated with every beat. From the euphoria of being born to be alive, we transition into a track that's all about wanting more. Next up is from none other than Andrea True Connection. This track will have you dancing until you can't take it anymore. Number 8. More, 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 Andrea True Connection. If there was ever a song that perfectly captured the irresistible beauty of disco, it's Andrea True's More, More, More. Released in 1976, this track took over the airwaves, with its sultry vocals, addictive rhythm, and lyrics that demanded, well, more. Andrea True, with her captivating presence and smoky delivery, created a song that became the epitome of disco decadence. One that still gets the party started wherever it's played. The story behind More, More, More is as fascinating as the song itself. Andrea True was not initially a singer, but rather an adult film star who had spent time in Jamaica, where she discovered the work of producer Greg Diamond. After hearing her demo, Diamond saw potential and helped her craft the disco classic. The result was a track that captured the pulse of the era, a blend of catchy, slightly seductive lyrics, and a rhythm section that demanded bodies on the dance floor. Released under the moniker Andrea True Connection, the song reached number 4 in the Billboard Hot 100 and became a staple of 1970s disco culture. The chorus, More, 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 how do you like it? How do you like it? Invited listeners to have fun, but the track's lyrics were dripping with desire and the thrill of pleasure that helps cement its place in the hearts of disco lovers. While Andrea True's career didn't skyrocket beyond More and More and More, this song's influence is undeniable. It remains one of the most iconic disco hits, often cited as a song that encapsulated the era's mix of hedonism and escapism. For many, it's a reminder of the joyous excess that defined the 1970s. Number 9. Rock the Boat, Hughes Corporation.
Don't rock the boat, baby. Rock the boat. I don't tip the boat over. Rock the boat. I don't...
Talk about a song that really rocked the boat. Rock the Boat by Hughes Corporation hit the airwaves in 1974, and the world of disco would never be the same. With its smooth groove, playful lyrics, and undeniable hook, it became an instant classic, peaking at number 1 on the Billboard Hot 100. It was one of the first disco hits to break into the mainstream pop culture, and set the stage for what was to come. The catchy refrain of Rock the Boat became a rallying cry for everyone ready to let loose on the dance floor. The Hughes Corporation, a group formed in Los Angeles, managed to capture the essence of the early disco sound with this song, blending elements of soul, R&B, and pop into a package that was both funky and smooth. The song's success was almost unexpected, as it was initially a B-side track that gained popularity through word of mouth before climbing the charts. It was one of those rare songs that you hear once and instantly recognize. It's that contagious. But here's the fun part. While Rock the Boat might be the Hughes Corporation's most famous track, it was also their only major hit. The song's infectious rhythm and feel-good vibes propelled them to brief stardom before they faded into one-hit wonder territory. Still, every time that opening piano riff plays, it's a reminder that the 70s were all about fun, freedom, and, well, rocking the boat. The crazy thing about the group is that they had originally set out to make a folk album, but after discovering the magic of disco, they decided to embrace the dance craze. And boy did it pay off. Rock the Boat became the disco anthem that nobody saw coming. Number 10, The Hustle, Van McCoy. When it comes to the 1970s disco, few songs give the dance floor anthem vibe like The Hustle by Van McCoy. Released in 1975, this track was more than just a song. The song skyrocketed to number 1 on the Billboard Hot 100. McCoy's infectious melody, catchy rhythm, and signature brass section made it impossible to stay still. And suddenly, everyone from your grandma to your neighbor was doing the hustle. The song became the official soundtrack to the dance craze of the mid-70s, one that took the disco era to a whole new level. Van McCoy, a talented musician and songwriter, was no stranger to the spotlight. But the hustle took him to the top in a way he hadn't anticipated. The track was inspired by a popular dance at the time. You guessed it, the hustle. And McCoy quickly turned it into a full-on celebration of rhythm and groove. The song's smooth, funky beats were designed specifically to get people moving. And with its catchy hook, it delivered in spades. The impact of the hustle was undeniable. Not only did it become an international hit, but it also helped establish Van McCoy as one of disco's most memorable names. Despite McCoy's impressive body of work, though, the hustle remains his most iconic contribution to the genre. Fun fact, the dance itself was created by a choreographer named Alberto Gutierrez, and it was played in nearly every club and party in America. Number 11, Get Dancin', Discotheques and the Sexalettes. Are you ready to get down? Get Dancin' by Discotheques and the Sexalettes is one of the most unapologetically fun disco tracks of the 1970s. And that's saying something. Released in 1974, this song took the Let's Dance vibe of the disco era and cranked it up to 11. The funky bass line, infectious beat, and over-the-top glam energy of the track made it a dance floor essential, propelling the song to number 10 on the Billboard Hot 100. This wasn't just music, it was a full-on celebration of everything that disco was about: fun, freedom, and fabulousness. Discotheques and the Sexalettes, led by the flamboyant performer Sir Monty Rock III, were one of the early pioneers of disco theater. The band's outrageous costumes, over-the-top performances, and campy energy were all part of the act, and their debut single, Get Dancin', was no exception. The song's lyrics were simple, yet infectious. Get dancin', ooh. And the music was everything a disco track should be. Fun, fast-paced, and perfect for the club scene. While the group may not have achieved sustained success after this hit, Get Dancin' became one of the anthems that defined the early days of disco. It's got that unapologetic, vibrant energy that perfectly encapsulates the bold and bright 70s. This playful, risque vibe made it a party favorite, and if you were lucky enough to be at a disco club when it played, you can bet the dance floor was packed. Number 12, I Love the Nightlife, Disco Round, Alicia Bridges. Alicia Bridges' I Love the Nightlife Disco Round is a track that instantly transports you to the neon-lit glow of a late-night disco club. Released in 1978, this song was an explosive celebration of nightlife culture, where the music was hot, the lights were dazzling, and the weekends seemed to stretch endlessly. With its infectious hook and Bridges' confident, sultry delivery, I Love the Nightlife became the soundtrack for disco lovers everywhere, offering an escape into a world of dance, freedom, and celebration. The song was written and produced by Bridges herself, along with her longtime collaborator, Mike Ragagna. I Love the Nightlife captured the spirit of the era, an anthem for those who live for the excitement of the nighttime revelry. With its smooth disco beat, glittering orchestration, and unforgettable chorus, it was no wonder the track climbed the charts, reaching number 5 on the Billboard Hot 100 and becoming a top 10 hit in several countries. Alicia Bridges, who grew up in Charlotte, North Carolina, and was deeply influenced by the sounds of soul and R&B, crafted a song that resonated with people from all walks of life. Her experience in the nightlife scene combined with her natural musical talent gave the song an authenticity that made it stand out. While I Love the Nightlife became her signature hit, it showcased her ability to merge pop, disco, and funk into something irresistibly danceable. Our next entry is a track that brought the sound of the dance floor to the masses. Number 13. Play That Funky Music, Wild Cherry. When Wild Cherry released and Play That Funky Music in 1976, they did more than just create a hit. They wrote a timeless anthem that would forever link disco, funk, and rock into one irresistible groove. The song's powerful brass section, funky guitar riffs, and that unforgettable call to action, "Play that funky music, white boy," exploded onto the scene, capturing the hearts of music lovers across the nation. The track was written by Wild Cherry's lead vocalist, Rob Parisi, who had been inspired by the growing blend of funk and disco he saw around him. Initially intended as a fusion of funk and rock, the song's infectious energy propelled it to number 1 on the Billboard Hot 100. Its success marked a pivotal moment in music history, showcasing how disco's influence could extend beyond its original boundaries and bring people from all walks of life together on the dance floor. The band found themselves part of a larger movement in the 70s, where genres began to blend and break down racial barriers. Play That Funky Music became a rallying cry for people of all backgrounds to get up and dance. United by a shared love of music, it was a joyous, unapologetic celebration of funky rhythm and dance culture. Though Wild Cherry didn't have another massive hit after Play That Funky Music, the track's legacy endures. It's a song that appeared in movies, commercials, and dance parties for decades, reminding everyone of the importance of music and bringing people together. Whenever it played, there's an instant sense of unity. People of all ages and all walks of life, hands in the air, dancing to the same beat. As Wild Cherry got everyone moving to their funky rhythms, the next track we'll explore takes the disco spirit to an emotional place. Number 14. Don't Leave Me This Way, Thelma Houston. When Thelma Houston released Don't Leave Me This Way in 1976, she created a disco anthem that wasn't just about dancing. It was about raw emotion, passion, and heartache, wrapped in the glittering lights of the dance floor. This track, with its soaring vocals and deep groove, became one of the era's most powerful expressions of disco's ability to blend joy with emotional depth. Written by Kenneth Gamble, Leon Huff, and Carrie Gilbert, Don't Leave Me This Way was originally recorded by Harold Melvin and the Blue Notes, but Houston's version brought it to life in an entirely new way. Produced by the legendary Gamble and Huff, the song transformed into a dance floor anthem, powered by Houston's stunning vocal performance. Her heartfelt plea, "Don't Leave Me This Way," resonated with listeners, giving the song a timeless emotional depth that went beyond the usual disco fare. The track's success was immediate. It climbed to number 1 on the Billboard Hot 100, and its powerful mix of soul, funk, and disco helped define a golden era for dance music. Don't Leave Me This Way became one of Houston's signature songs, but it also marked a high point in the disco genre, showing that music could move the heart and get people dancing at the same time. Houston's powerful voice and the song's orchestration gave it a unique blend of soul and disco that connected with both pop and R&B audiences. Even decades later, Don't Leave Me This Way remains a disco classic, often appearing in retrospectives, movies, and even commercials, continuing to captivate listeners with its message of longing and desire. Our next track catapults us to feel the heat of the dance floor where the energy doesn't just stay alive, it's armed for action. Number 15. Armed and Extremely Dangerous, first choice. When Armed and Extremely Dangerous by First Choice hit the scene in 1973, it didn't just follow the disco trend, it set the stage for what was to come. With its funky bass lines, infectious rhythm, and bold brass sections, the track became a standout in the early years of the disco movement. It blended soul, funk, and the beginnings of the disco sound, giving audiences a glimpse of the musical explosion that was just around the corner. First Choice, an all-female trio from Philadelphia, had already made waves on the R&B charts with earlier hits, but Armed and Dangerous truly marked a shift in their sound. Produced by the legendary Norman Harris and written by Harris, Alan Felder, and Stan Watson, the song encapsulated the group's powerful vocal delivery, combining their soulful harmonies with a driving disco beat. The track's lyrics, with lines like "I'm armed and dangerous, I've got the love you need," exuded confidence and empowerment, giving the song an added edge that made it stand out in a crowded genre. The single became a hit, reaching number 1 on the R&B charts and peaking at number 31 on the Billboard Hot 100. Its strong rhythm and catchy chorus helped solidify First Choice's place in the burgeoning disco scene, a scene that would soon explode into one of the most defining musical movements of the 1970s. Despite not achieving the same level of commercial success with future releases, Armed and Dangerous remains a phenomenal part of classic disco compilations and an enduring fan favorite. Today, Armed and Dangerous is remembered not just as a disco track, but as a snapshot of the era's sense of empowerment, resilience, and unapologetic confidence. It embodies the energy of a time when people weren't afraid to express themselves boldly and freely, whether on the dance floor or in their personal lives. So, which of these iconic 70s disco one-hit wonders had you grooving the hardest? Drop a comment down below and let us know which track you can't stop dancing to. Don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe for more interesting videos just like this one.